morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. Alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Wait. That's not going to work. That's not going to work for me. That intro is way too old. Way too old. We got to change it up. We got to change it up. It is what it is.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. Alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. Alright. Good morning.
Yeah, that was a lot better. Good Monday morning, the Monday after the Super Bowl, the most requested national holiday in our country. Like, of all the days that aren't national, like if you polled people and said you can add one national holiday to the calendar, I truly believe that the Monday after the Super Bowl would win in like a nationwide vote. You hear this argument made every single year. There's articles written about it every single year. Monday after the Super Bowl should be a holiday. Now, I disagree. The game comes on at 6:30, people. It ended at 10:30. Even if you have to be at work at 6 or 7 in the morning, you can still watch the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. If you're going to the Super Bowl, you already took Monday off regardless. Like, okay, so you had to travel. Okay. You already took Monday off, probably Tuesday. Is there really a need to have the Monday after? You know what really should be a holiday? The Tuesday after the college football national championship game. That's ridiculous. College football natty comes on a Monday, which is ridiculous on its face, and it doesn't start till 8 o'clock at night, and it doesn't end till midnight or a little after. If you're going to add a national holiday, how about Tuesday after the national title game in football? That would be the day to add as a holiday. In fact, just make it Monday and Tuesday. Just give people both those days off. But you don't need the Monday after a Super Bowl as a national holiday. No, you don't need that. Not in my opinion. Anyway, Super Bowl was yesterday. Chiefs won. Congratulations to Kansas City and any Chiefs fans that may or may not exist. And we got a pretty good game, or at least we got an exciting game for the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. The first 3 quarters were pretty boring, though, I think, in my opinion. The first 3 quarters were really pretty boring. I was disappointed. You know, I say it all the time. When you're watching a football game that doesn't involve your team, unless you bet money on the game, the only other thing you really want when you watch that game is, can we just have a good game? Just please keep me interested, right? And especially with the Super Bowl, because that's really the last football game of the year. I know we have the XFL coming up, and we're going to start talking about the XFL a little bit on this channel, and I'm going to do some things for the XFL. But generally speaking, the Super Bowl is the last football game of the 2019 season. And it sure was nice of them to give us a game that kept us interested and entertained to the very end. Again, congrats to the Chiefs. They scored, 3 touchdowns in the last 7 or 8 minutes of that game to win the game. I mean, they just looked awful, really, for the first 3 quarters offensively. They were down, 20-10 with 9 minutes to go in the third quarter, scored 3 unanswered touchdowns, and win the game 31-20. So, again, congratulations to the Chiefs, NFL champions, 2019 Super Bowl champions. I watched the game. I streamed it over on the Patreon page. A lot of you were over there. We had a good time watching the game and talking about the game and all that. BVD, good morning in that, though.
Hey, good morning. Are you any richer this morning, Luke?
You know what? I haven't even looked this morning. I bet on so many of those prop bets. I have to go back and see. Like I don't even know. I bet $100 on the Chiefs -1, so I won that. But I bet like $20 on a lot of prop bets. All the stupid ones. You know, I bet on some like actual football prop bets, but I bet on almost all the non-football.
What's the stupidest prop bet you bet on that you can remember?
I bet on would they kiss. I bet on would Jennifer Lopez show butt cleavage.
Would they kiss? Megan Mullen was in there.
There was an article yesterday. I shared it on Twitter. Some herpes-infested monkeys have escaped and are running wild in northern Florida.
Oh, boy.
Now, how do you think those monkeys contracted herpes?
Oh, boy.
Were they recruits, or did Megan Mullen make a trip to the zoo, or anyway, enough about Megan Mullen. She's a classy lady, that Megan Mullen.
That's right.
There's no doubt.
Even got her own massage parlor, I heard.
Yeah. Is Jeremy Pruitt married? I honestly don't know.
He is.
Okay.
He's married to his eyebrow.
You know, some coaches make their wives like a prominent part of what they do some kind of way. Like Mark Richt, his wife sort of famously was the water girl for the team. And so she was on the sideline every game. And Of course, Dan Mullen does what he does with his wife. But like Kirby Smart, he's married. You never see his wife. So I think some people approach that differently. And I honestly had no idea if Jeremy Pruitt was married or not. Is she sort of in the shadows there, or does she have some sort of unofficial role or anything with the football program that you know of up there?
Yeah, that's a good question, Lou. I'm gonna look into that.
If
now.
you don't know, then she probably doesn't.
Well, I mean, I don't really pay attention to stuff like that. For all I know, she could be the offensive coordinator. No, wait, never mind. She could have some role that I don't know about. I know Philip Fulmer's daughter used to be part of the thing. She would always walk out to shake the hand of the opposing coach after the games.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Pruitt. I don't know. That's a good question. I'll look into that.
Well, I know you watched the game yesterday because I had my own thing going on the Patreon page with the stream, but I dipped in and out of your comments section there. So I know you were streaming during the game. So I know you watched the game. What did you sort of, your brief, just overall thoughts? Were you? Whatever.
I was definitely not bored with it. I mean,
yeah.
I thought Mahomes and the Chiefs looked really tight for most of the game, but it was. I'm not going to say it was a great game, but it was a great fourth quarter, mainly because of the way things turned out and the Niners lost. So that made it a great fourth quarter for me. Great Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Way better than the halftime show and the commercials.
We'll talk a lot about the halftime show during this, I'm sure. I'll just give you my brief thoughts on the halftime show real quick. I thought it was an entertaining halftime show. I mean, there was a lot going on. I mean, at one point, like the last minute or two of the halftime show, there was so much going on that stage that you really couldn't pay attention to any one thing. It was almost overkill. I did think it was entertaining. I have a couple of issues. One of them is an issue I have with almost every Super Bowl halftime show lately, which is I just wish they would. They either need to put. You remember when the Who did the halftime show?
Vaguely.
Okay. They either need to do that, somebody that was popular 40 years ago, or they need to put somebody who's popular now. I don't like this in the middle thing. I'm sorry, J-Lo and Shakira are not moving the needle in 2020. Other than this halftime show, no one can name the last thing they did. You know what I mean?
I thought I don't know much about Shakira at all, other than she's smoking. But I thought J-Lo was at least somewhat relatively relevant nowadays, at least with some of her acting. Maybe I'm wrong. Never have been a huge fan of her singing career, but
yeah,
she's multi-talented and has a phenomenal caboose.
I just feel like either give us somebody that's on the charts right now, or let us reminisce. Give us the Who, give us Metallica, give us somebody from the 80s or something, so we can. But I don't like this in the middle thing. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I did think it was entertaining. Like I think they did a good job with the halftime show, but I just don't like the in the middle thing. And I have no clue, none at all, who those two guys were they brought on as guests or whatever. I no idea at all. One of them looked like the Tin Man. What was that about? He was dressed up in some kind of aluminum blanket. I don't know what he was wearing. He looked like the Tin Man. I mean, it was the weirdest thing. I have no idea who that was, and I have no idea who the second guy was they brought up either. I have no clue.
I got to be honest with you. I didn't hear literally 30 seconds of it because, like you said, I was streaming. I was trying not to get any kind of copyright claim or anything like that. So I had the volume turned down, but just based on the comments in my stream, it was terrible. Yeah, it just depends on who you ask. But you're right, man. There was a lot going on in them. To me, the most impressive thing about all of these Super Bowl halftime shows that they do now is the amazing Wow, I don't know what the word is. How smoothly they go, how fast they get on and off the stage, how minimal damage to the field, and it's almost artwork watching these people work,
Oh yeah, clearing that
making
thing
those
off.
things
Yeah,
happen.
setting all that up and then clearing it off in like I don't know, what does it take? Maybe 5 minutes to set it up, 5 minutes to tear it down. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
an engineering marvel.
Those
Uh,
guys are
yeah.
excuse me, those guys and gals are something you and I are not, and that's professionals.
Sir, this is I speak for yourself, but this is a
Nah,
professional
I
show.
knew that was coming.
Yeah, I'm wearing a corduroy sports jacket for Christ's sake.
Well, I
Don't
mean,
tell don't tell me this isn't professional.
you can't see it because we're too cheap to get a live feed, but I'm wearing my Masters win green jacket that I won
Oh,
27 years ago.
we actually do have a live feed, but the satellite is down right now, so we're working to get
Yeah.
that. We're working to get that repaired. Uh, the other thing I heard people complaining about with the halftime show, which unfortunately didn't surprise me, was the whole Mexican, Spanish, Puerto Rican thing. But listen, the Super Bowl was in Miami.
Yeah, I mean,
They
what were they
hired,
thinking?
yeah, they was in Miami. They hired two Spanish ladies to do the Super Bowl halftime show. What did you think you were going to get?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, English is a second language down there in Miami. The NFL is trying to expand both to Europe and Mexico. I mean, for a while they were playing games in Mexico. I'm not sure. Did they play a game in Mexico this year? I have no idea. They play games in Europe, but
I know
so
they play a game in London every year.
yeah.
I don't know about Mexico.
So that didn't surprise me at all. And some people are upset about that for obvious reasons that there's no need to point out. The sun rises in the east. It was pretty easy to tell who was going to be upset about that sort of a halftime show, and that's what ended up
Hey,
happening. But
speaking of Latinos and what you were just talking about there, I don't know if you were planning on talking about the Star Spangled Banner or not. Demi Lovato.
mm,
Um, I know who she is. I know she used to be in a lot of the teen movies and TV shows and stuff. I know she's very multi-talented actress and artist and whatnot. I had no, I thought she was a Caucasian girl. Is she a Caucasian with a very good tan? Is she mixed? Is she Latino or what? She looked very, well, maybe she's just been in Miami for a long time. She looked pretty tan last night, and that's not, not to start up any crap or anything.
yeah,
It's just to satisfy my curiosity.
I would have to look it up. I'll be honest with you. I could be standing behind Demi Lovato at line in Big Lots and wouldn't know it. I think she
Right.
has, other than guessing that I think she has dark hair. I really couldn't tell you what she looks like, but let me see what the internet has to say about
Figured
Demi Lovato.
somebody in the comments would be all over that pretty soon. We got a pretty sharp bunch of people
Demi
and a good.
Lovato is an American singer.
Okay.
Now, maybe I don't know. Maybe her parents, or I have no idea. She was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Well,
but not Old Mexico. So I don't
maybe
know.
that's got something to do with it.
She has a half sister named Madison de la Garza. So
And we're getting somewhere.
we are figuring things out here.
Jenny.
Uh,
Shame on you, Jenny. Jenny in the comments.
her mother was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
That would explain the hotness.
Let's see. What does this say here? In Albuquerque, New Mexico, was born to a former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, Diana de la Garza, and engineer and musician Patrick Martin Lovato. She has an older sister named Dallas. So it could be some Latino heritage there. I mean, there's a lot of things pointing that direction. Some of these names, born in New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, I thought she did an okay job anyway, regardless of her
Yeah.
nationality, or it wasn't dragged out too long. That's one thing that's always irritated me. And ever since Whitney Houston, whoever does the national anthem at the Super Bowl now is just like never going to live up. But that's a different topic totally for perhaps another portion of this show or another show altogether.
Yeah. Well, plus, not only was it an amazing performance, the timing, like people had an emotional connection to that song at the time because of what was going on with the Gulf War and that, and it was first really big war we had been in since the Vietnam War, so we weren't tired of war like we are now. Of course, we've been at war ever since then. So,
and it was Whitney Houston. I mean, pre crack days, one of the hottest females on the planet at the time.
And I mean, her voice, top 5 all time, no doubt about it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You ever go to karaoke bars, or I don't know, maybe you sing karaoke, I don't know, but do they have karaoke up there, either karaoke bars or like down here they do karaoke at every Mexican restaurant every weekend and stuff like that. But do you ever go anywhere where they're doing karaoke?
I used to. I have been, not on any regular basis, but yeah, I've actually attended quite a few karaoke sessions at some local dives around here in my younger years.
There's a few like hard and fast rules when it comes to karaoke, amateur karaoke at the restaurants or karaoke bars or whatever. Like, someone is going to sing, we talked about this guy the other day, but somebody is going to sing You Never Even Call Me By My Name by David Allan Coe. It's just going to happen at some point.
Right.
You might have to stay till it's almost closing time or whatever, but somebody is going to sing that every single time you go. But there's some other rules too. One of the rules is no one should be allowed to try to sing Whitney Houston or
Celine Dion,
Adele. That one, people used to try to do that a few years ago when she was popular. And I mean, there's just certain people. It just even if you're an like halfway decent singer who can at least like keep a tune, there's a big difference between that and singing Whitney Houston or Adele. I mean, anybody can get up there and sing David Allan Coe, You Never Even Call Me By My Name, because everybody knows the words to that song. So no one really even pays attention to who's singing. They're singing along or whatever. It's just like one of those party songs. Same thing with Garth Brooks. What's the Garth Brooks one?
There's
Friends in Low Places. You'll hear that one too. And it doesn't matter how good or bad of a singer you are. That's great to sing at karaoke because everyone knows it, and they're going to be singing and doing their own thing and not paying attention to how bad you are anyway. But
what was
you get up there and try to sing
karaoke
Whitney
song?
I used to sing the David Allan Coe song all the time. I used to sing oh God, what's that guy's name? I Should Have Been a Cowboy. What's that guy's name?
Oh man. That guy.
It's not Toby Keith, is it?
Yeah, it is
Toby
actually.
Keith. Okay, yeah, I used to sing
I
that.
can't stand that dude.
Yeah, I used to sing. Piano Man.
Wow, multi-talented Lou. Are we gonna get like now? Sue me. I haven't seen every Uncle Lou video ever produced.
Yeah.
So I know you've done some rap stuff. Are we gonna get maybe some? Maybe we need an Uncle Lou BBD karaoke sing-off like we had with Blake West and T-Luck. I don't know if you saw any of that.
That would be amazing.
Whatsoever.
I think there are 3 videos on YouTube where I'm singing karaoke. So
really,
if anybody really, really, really wants to find it, good luck. There's like 1,200 videos. And
I think a kinder, friendlier, nicer Uncle Lou would post us the link to at least one of those. I mean, did you get a copyright claim on any of them?
Probably all of them. I don't know.
Right. I don't know how that works. Some people can do karaoke and make tons of money off the ad revenue, and somebody can do karaoke like I did a month ago and have it taken down within the first 30 seconds.
Now, I see a couple of comments here, and it reminds me clearly the most disappointing thing about the halftime show.
Thank you for getting back to that.
No Afrojack.
He may have been there behind the scenes because, as you know, Afrojack is a behind the scenes kind of guy.
I have heard that, although I wasn't sure how much truth there was to it. But now that I've heard you say it, I 100% believe it. Let me read through these super chats. Mitch Alday's, he done changed his name. It used to be Mitch Alday all day. Now he changed his name to Mitch Alday's Sim TV Repair.
Yeah.
He says, good morning, and I'm going to need you to go ahead and have some more video game playoffs soon. Business is booming. I am doing another round of playoffs. We're going to do the disappointment playoffs, but I'm going to take a week off, so it won't, not this week. Tuesday and Thursday night this week, we'll just do the call-in show as normal, and then next week we will do another round of playoff games. We're going to do the disappointment playoffs. So this week during the nighttime show, we'll figure out who the 4 teams are we're going to put in there, and then we'll do the playoffs next week. But thank you for the super chat, Mitch. Celine Driver, good morning, sir. He says, know what the end of the No Fun League season means? NASCAR is about to start. Yes, the transplanted Yankee loves NASCAR. Go Rowdy. Unless you're talking about Rowdy Gaines or whatever from the movie Days of Thunder, then I pretty much have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
I almost feel like that's who he's talking about.
Might be. Are you into NASCAR at all, BBD?
Not anymore. Not ever since I heard the name Dick Trickle. They just kind of ruined it for me. But no, really, I used to back in the 90s. Oddly enough, when I moved back to Tennessee and started having these arguments with my dad about NASCAR, it just kind of, I got burnt out on it. And then Jimmy Johnson did me in. That was the final straw.
Have you ever been to a NASCAR race in person?
I live 45 minutes from Bristol Motor Speedway, and I have never been to a NASCAR race. I've been to Bristol the night before, the night of the night race, and just walked around and enjoyed the atmosphere, which is amazing, by the way. Well, I don't know about now. NASCAR is so in trouble right now, but no, I have not been to a race.
Ever been to a football game at a racetrack?
Yes, actually I have. Not the one you're thinking of, but smart ass.
Y'all were so happy about that, weren't
We
you?
won that game.
I know y'all
Uncle
got a trophy.
Lou.
Y'all got a trophy and everything, man. I was so happy for y'all.
Better believe it.
Yeah, beating an unranked Virginia Tech team in week 2 at a racetrack, it just doesn't get any better than that for Tennessee.
Hey, it's the largest college football game ever.
That's right, BBD. And no matter how many times you lose to Georgia State, nobody can take that away from you, sir.
That's right, asshole.
Celine Driver says, but who has your router played? Woo? I don't know what he's talking about. Did the stream die again? I hope not. 4 people watching would be awfully disappointed. Waikiki, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says Metallica. Yeah, I like Metallica. I'm not a huge Metallica fan. I'm not going to pretend I could name every song or whatever, but obviously the Black Album is, I don't understand how you can be alive when the Black Album was out and not be a fan of it with Enter Sandman and all that.
Here's a question. Metallica or Megadeth?
Oh, for me it's Metallica. I can't name one Megadeth song.
There's some pretty stringent lines drawn on that argument with some people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I know quite a bit about Megadeth and all that.
I'm gonna make
Go ahead.
I'm gonna make a public service announcement real quick, and then we'll get back to Megadeth. But I'm gonna make a public service announcement. This is just for everyone's benefit. Jenny Haggerty. Good morning, sir. Okay, go ahead, BBD.
Man, how do you follow that? I'll just say this. Outstanding, Lou.
Yeah, I can. I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally, but not very often. BBD does pay attention. Just not right now.
Yeah. Pat Mahomes won the MVP. You okay with that?
Yeah, I thought maybe the Williams dude maybe should have won it, but yeah, I guess I'm okay with that. He came alive. I mean, clearly they're not winning it without him. So
yeah, I don't have a problem with him winning it either. It's not. He didn't have an amazing game, you know. Like I don't think 10 years from now anybody's going to be going, man. Remember when Patrick Mahomes had that great Super Bowl and the Chiefs beat the 49ers 31-10? I mean, he had a good game in the fourth quarter, but like I remember when the game ended, I remember going, well, I guess they're gonna give it to Mahomes. Like there really wasn't, like, no one looked like the best player on the field. It wasn't a clear or obvious like, yeah, this guy's definitely the MVP. Or I mean, I knew they were going to give it to Mahomes. He's the quarterback, and there was literally no one else to give it to. So, but you know, it wasn't one of those things like, oh my God, he was 28 of 30 for 350 yards and about that kind of thing. You know,
right. Oh, he had. I mean, for me, he looked pretty average for most of the game.
Yeah,
for Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I knew San Francisco had a good defense, but the fourth quarter was kind of what I thought we would see the whole game from the Chiefs. Not that they would score 3 touchdowns every quarter, but like you mentioned in the beginning, they just looked tight at the beginning of the game. Their first possession, all game, Mahomes was off target all game.
Their first possession was, right on cue. They started all 3 first possessions of the playoffs with a 3 and out.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they were right on schedule there. I didn't know that either until they mentioned it after it happened. But I kind of expected that for the first quarter. I can't remember the last Super Bowl where we had like an amazing first quarter. Certainly wasn't last year.
When he had that interception in the second half that hit off Tyreek Hill's hands, that really, at that point, I said that might be the game. I mean, they kind of had a drive going there. They were in field goal range, and I was like, okay, just don't take a sack here, don't make, because they were down 10 at the time with 11 or 12 minutes to go or something in the fourth quarter, and Hill was open on that slant route. Would have been a first down, and it wasn't the worst throw I've ever seen, but it was a yard or so behind Hill, and he had to slow down and reach behind himself, and of course it tipped off his hands, and San Francisco intercepted it. But for the most part, that's how Mahomes looked in that game. A little bit off. He wasn't sharp. He wasn't threading the needle, as they say sometimes. I mean, he played good at the end when it mattered the most, but overall, I mean, he looked shaky, like you said, for 3 quarters and change. I was surprised.
Well, the one thing that did not surprise me about that game was the fourth quarter. I mean, I haven't watched every Chiefs game this year, but the one thing I did pick up on with that team is, man, they had the literal proverbial switch, and I never felt like they were out of a game. Even that first playoff game when they were just getting destroyed, so that's a team that truly can hit you with 21 points in 4.5 minutes like they did. So.
Yeah, and the thought crossed my mind too when they were down, and I kept thinking back to that. Was it the Titans game? Yeah, I think so, wasn't it?
The Titans game was the second game. So it was Houston, I think.
Houston. Yeah, Houston. Yeah, you're right. But I kept thinking about that too. But I'm like, there's a big difference between being down 20 points halfway through the second quarter in the first round of the playoffs versus being down 10 points in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl against that San Francisco defense. But
right.
I mean, I see a lot of people blaming Kyle Shanahan this morning, mainly Falcons fans who are still mad about 3 or 4 years ago. The reality is, and Falcons fans know this, I don't know why they won't admit it, Kyle Shanahan was the best thing that ever happened to Falcons. That was the best team the Falcons ever had. It's not even close. I mean, that was the best season Matt Ryan ever had. It's been downhill. It was downhill before that, and it was downhill after that. They should have kept Kyle Shanahan. I don't know, these Falcons fans celebrating not a Chiefs win and not even a 49ers loss, just celebrating a Shanahan loss. And of course, he was up again in the Super Bowl and gave it away just like he did with the Falcons. But listen, Falcons fans, if you had any sense, you'd have kept Shanahan and got rid of Quinn. That was the best team the Falcons have ever had.
Are you hearing much about some of the controversy in the fourth quarter? Some of the the calls and the non-calls and stuff like that. I haven't paid much attention to it on here, but was there anything that maybe I missed that's really a topic today about something that should have been called or maybe wasn't called? The one that comes to mind for me was the pass interference and the offsides that wasn't called. I think it was fourth down, maybe third or fourth down on San Francisco's last drive when Kansas City jumped off sides and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
I
don't know about that
but
one. The pass interference was pass interference. I mean, how you have to call that. The guy, if he turns his head around, maybe they don't call it. But the guy didn't even try to play the ball. He jumped right into the arms of the wide receiver, never turned his head around. You have to make that call. I don't have a problem with that call. The other thing is, even if you have a problem with that call, there is zero way. There is no way. Even if every referee was in on it, there is no way for the referee to force you to give up 3 touchdowns in 9 minutes. It's impossible. So play defense. Get a first down on offense. The referees didn't lose that game. You don't give up 3 touchdowns in 9 minutes because of the referees. One touchdown maybe, a bad call or something. You don't – the referees made us give up 3 touchdowns in the last 9 minutes. No, not playing defense and being unable to get a first down on offense is what caused you to give up 21 points in the last 9 minutes of that game.
You know how it is when you're the losing team in a championship game or even a huge game. You want to blame one thing every time, for being the reason that you lost. I was really talking about a different PI call, and of course, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it involved Kittle or something like that. It was an offensive deal.
Oh, I mean, that one. Yeah, now that one was at the end of the first half.
Oh, okay.
That was at the end of the first half. San Francisco had the ball with almost no time. It looked like they were just going to sort of run the clock out and go to halftime, and they threw a bomb down the right-hand sideline, and Kittle caught it at about the 10-yard line. So, okay, so they get 3 points there. I don't know. I don't know. I still think, regardless of how many calls the referees blew or didn't blow, San Francisco was up 20-10 with 9 minutes to go in that game and gave up 3 touchdowns unanswered. So I don't buy that. I'm not. The referees blow calls in every game, and usually you hear this if it's a one-score game. If there are really San Francisco fans blaming the referees for giving up 3 touchdowns in the last 9 minutes and an 11-point loss, that's hilarious to me. That's just that's hilarious.
Well, it's inevitable. Somebody's going to.
I mean, San Francisco's last possession where they went for it on fourth down, I mean, they had to. Mm-hmm. They didn't get the first down. In fact, I think Garoppolo ended up getting sacked on that last play. But anyway, he didn't snap the ball before the play clock expired.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to mention.
Now, it didn't matter because they got sacked anyway. But what if San Francisco scores a touchdown there? Well, that's not a reviewable play. So, you can't. Did the referees make bad calls? Probably, but there's bad calls made in every game.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear anything from anybody about the game being set up or rigged or anything like that, because if it was, the referees would have been blowing that play dead with 1 second left on the play clock and trying to charge San Francisco a penalty for no reason, rather than letting the play clock hit 0 and not calling the penalty on the most critical play of the game, that 4th and 10. So, but it's always rigged. Everyone, I saw it yesterday as soon as the game ended. Oh, it's rigged. Look at the announcers. Everybody, the announcers, the crew, ESPN, all anybody talked about was the Chiefs. So, of course, they set it up for the Chiefs to have a miracle come back and win. This whole thing is rigged. Yeah. I don't understand those people, man, that really think the NFL is wrestling. I really don't understand. That's basically what you're saying, is that you think the outcomes are predetermined. That's what you're saying, and it's just ridiculous.
Those are probably the same people that think that Sandy Hook didn't really happen, that 9/11 had, what is it Catalog used to say about the planes? They were holograms. Yeah, holograms. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Let's catch up on these super chats here before we go. We don't want to go down the 9/11 rabbit hole. We'll save that for a little bit deeper into the offseason.
Yeah.
Slim Shady, what's up, buddy? He says the next Super Bowl halftime show should be Uncle Lou versus Pine Cone versus Grady 1219 in an epic rap battle. They don't want those problems. I guarantee you they don't. I've already challenged Grady 1219 to a rap battle, and he slithered into a hole. He didn't want none of it, so that'll never happen.
Really? He backed down from that?
Yeah, remember when he was wanting to fight me?
Yeah.
I told him we should handle it like men, and I said, I'll let you choose. We can either have a dance battle or a rap battle. You choose. And he was afraid of either one because he knows he don't want these problems.
Man, he missed the boat on that one, didn't he?
Oh, he would have got humiliated. Can you imagine the shame of Afrojack 1219 getting beat in a dance battle by Uncle Lou? I mean, he would have had to just delete his channel. So I don't blame him for not accepting that challenge. Shane Bentley, thank you for the super chat, sir. Really appreciate that. He says, my wife and I live close to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I won tickets to the Coca-Cola 600. I'm a Caucasian male, and even I felt for my life based on the crowd that attended that race. Jean shorts all around.
Definitely a unique setting, I've heard.
The reason I asked you if you had been to a race is because I'm not a NASCAR fan either. I have tried, I've given it a shot probably a dozen times over the course of my life because I've got cousins and uncles or whatever that are into it, and so like racing is weird in that their marquee event is at the beginning of their season, whereas the Super Bowl, the NBA final, whatever, is at the end. So I try to watch the Daytona 500 a lot of years, and I just can't do it. I tend to watch a little bit of the beginning. I say I'm gonna give it a shot, and I'll watch a little bit of the beginning, and then I can't do this. And then I'll check in every hour or so, and when it gets down to like the last 20 laps or something, okay, I'll watch the last 20 laps. But I asked you if you'd ever been to a race because the people that I really know that really love it, some of my family members, friends, whatever, they always tell me the same thing. You'll never really be a NASCAR fan until you go to a race. You have to experience it in person to really appreciate. And maybe that's true. I don't know. And maybe one day I'll go to a NASCAR race. I don't know, but I just can't get into it. And it's not that I haven't tried. I mean, I talk about this all the time. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I love like hockey playoffs. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I love March Madness. I watch some NBA finals. I watch some golf, the majors. Obviously, I watch a lot of football, but NASCAR is the one thing I just can't. There's nothing about NASCAR really that attracts me to it, and I have tried, and I just can't get into it. So
NASCAR is definitely, if not the leading, I don't even know whether to call it a sport or not. That's a whole different argument, but it's definitely the leading sport/event that you can see everything you need to know about it by watching the highlights.
Yeah. And plus, I feel strange. I don't care what anybody says. You want to see a wreck, and that just feels wrong. I mean, that just feels wrong. But I find myself rooting for a wreck, and that just feels wrong.
Well, wrong or right, it's a fact.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
To the casual fan, I think. The diehard fans. Oh, you got to watch how they pit. You got to watch them people in the pit work and changing them tires, and which is pretty amazing. But
I admit that's probably part of my problem is that outside of driving as fast as you can in a circle and trying to finish first, I don't understand a lot of what goes into, like, I don't understand a lot of the strategy, like I don't understand a lot of times why certain cars will choose to pit on this lap, but certain cars will choose the next lap. Outside of running out of gas or something, and then you have to pit. Okay, fine, but so there's just I think there's probably a lot about NASCAR, a lot of the details that I just don't understand. I mean, I just have a basic understanding. I mean, my understanding of NASCAR really doesn't go beyond it's just a race, like,
It's too scientific to me. It's gotten way too scientific.
Yeah,
racing has.
Yeah.
If you're not walking around in the pits with a clipboard, a calculator, a sundial, and a whatever that thing is that the nerds use to decipher math with, you're at a distinct disadvantage. Of course, they all do that now, and it's certainly not stock car racing anymore.
That's the other thing. Like I have a Mustang, but I'm not a car guy. I've said it a million times. I have a Mustang because my dad had one in 1987, and when I was a 7-year-old kid, seeing a Mustang in the driveway, it might as well have been a race car to me. It was the coolest thing to me, and I said I'm gonna have one day, and now I have one. But I'm not one of these people that hates Chevy or anything like that. I'm not a car guy. But one of the things I don't understand about NASCAR is I know they have different cars. There's Ford, there's Chevy. I think there's Pontiac, maybe
Toyota now.
Okay. So I'm assuming the Ford car has a Ford motor and a Ford transmission, and the Chevy car has a Chevy motor and a Chevy transmission. So my question is, how much are these motors and all that? And again, I'm probably going to sound like an idiot, but I'm not a car guy, so I don't even know the wording or whatever to use here. But how do I know that who's a good driver now? I don't even know. Jimmy Johnson. How do I know that Jimmy Johnson's a good driver? Isn't his car just faster than everyone else's? You see what I'm saying? I don't even have a basic understanding of why Jimmy Johnson is beating whoever he's beating. If they're both driving the same car, fine. Jimmy Johnson's a better driver. But if one of them's driving a Ford and one of them's driving a Chevy, how much is that? Is every car the exact same horsepower? Or is that even a thing in NASCAR? See, I don't know. I have no clue. I have no idea. You said stock car racing, sort of in quotation marks. I have no clue. Are all the cars exactly the same? So we're really seeing who the best driver is?
Yeah, clearly they're not.
Or what? I have no idea. I have no clue. And that's part of the problem.
The key to NASCAR, in my opinion, is who cheats the best and gets away with it. Because everything is, a hundredth of a second now, or a thousandth of a second means the difference between sitting on the pole, and I love that term, and 10th or 15th. What I want to see, maybe just as a novelty race or an all-star race, they even have those in NASCAR. Go out and take, I don't know, the best 5 drivers from each make of car. Go down to the local dealerships in town, pull out 5 Fords, 5 Chevys, 5 Toyotas, 5 whatevers. Put them out there on the track and let the drivers hop in those things straight off of the showroom floor. And then let's see a race.
And then, okay, assuming there is a difference in the cars between like Ford and Chevy, and I'm assuming there has to be, is every Ford the same? Or is there a way for such and such's mechanics and pit crew, even though they have a Ford car, you have driver A, he drives a Ford. Driver B, he drives a Ford. The same Ford, I'm assuming. They're all the same, same motor, all that. If driver A has a better mechanic team or pit crew or whatever, are there things that mechanic team can do to that car that will give it an advantage over the exact same car that's being worked on by a different, maybe less talented crew? You know what I mean? So I really just have no clue. And let's say you have, if Jimmy Johnson is in this Ford and his team has the car running great or whatever, and Jimmy Johnson wins and he beats this guy in a Chevy. If they swapped cars, would Jimmy Johnson win in the other person's car? That's what I want to know. Is the winner the best driver, or is the winner the best car?
Well, you know as well as I do from the movie, Cole Trickle can hop in any car and win a race. I'm assuming it's like that in real life. Jimmy Johnson could hop in any make of car, and I don't even think Jimmy Johnson's one of the top drivers anymore. But just for the sake of a name, I've always kind of wondered that myself.
Yeah.
And one thing that in NFL and NBA and all the other professional sports, it's not uncommon to see, a guy play for one team for a year or two and then get traded or whatever. Then he plays for 4 or 5 different teams throughout his career. You rarely, if ever, that I'm aware of, see in NASCAR a driver drive all 4 different makes. Let's just say there's 4. Dude driving a Ford's always going to be driving a Ford. Now, I may be wrong about that, but that's one observation I've noticed.
Yeah, it seems like the more we talk about this, the more confused I get.
and the less we clearly know.
Yesterday during the Super Bowl, I was streaming over on the Patreon page, and I was telling the people over there, I said, "Yep, listen," I said, this is the last real football game. We got XFL coming up. I said, so, I'll probably do a couple of XFL streams or whatever. I said, but y'all got to let me know what y'all want to see in the off season. How much XFL do you want to see? Do you want me to, do some March Madness stuff? Maybe you want me to do the Summer Olympics or this year. So you guys got to let me know, because I want to do what you guys want to see. And as I was sitting there saying that, a Daytona 500 commercial came on TV because, of course, it comes on Fox, and the Super Bowl was on Fox. And as I was saying that commercial came on, and I sat there for a second, and I went, but please don't ask me to stream the Daytona 500.
Hey, I might have to
don't
do that
ask
this
me
year.
to do that. I think you should, yeah.
I think I might do that and charge. So people are going to subject themselves to that. They've got to be diehard NASCAR fans.
Yeah, I think you'd have to tie me down to get me to watch 3 or 4 hours of any NASCAR race. I don't know. Let's see if we've made anybody mad with our NASCAR ignorance here. Let me read through these super chats. I hope nobody got some people. You probably know some of these NASCAR people are serious about their
Oh, for sure.
Let's see.
I'd rather die, Lou, than drive a Chevy.
Right. A lot of people like that. Logan Jackson, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, been to Talladega one time. Was boring as hell. I'll never go back. Celine Driver, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, pity. I think you'd make a great Kyle Busch fan. He says what's on his mind, just like you. Isn't Kyle Busch the guy that likes to fight on the racetrack a lot? That's funny to me when that happens.
I know the Busch brothers are pretty famous hotheads.
Yeah. Or like a guy will wreck or something, and maybe he thinks it's someone's fault, so he spins out or whatever, and he's on the side of the track. He climbs out of the car, takes his helmet off, waits for the other car to come back around the track, and throws his helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that to Tony Stewart.
Why?
I may have. Just let's wait and see what happens in the comments. You definitely don't want to throw your helmet at Tony Stewart. He'll kill you.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Slim Shady says NASCAR is an easy sport to follow when you're hammered. And, people go to NASCAR. I mean, it's like Woodstock. They're there for like 4 or 5 days. They're intense, right?
Oh, yeah.
Don't they do that? Like, because
Tons of RVing.
Yeah. Like
that part of it would be fun.
The Daytona 500 will be on a Sunday or whatever, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. But like that main race, and this is not just a Daytona 500, I think this is every race. That main race that most people watch on Sundays or whatever, but there's races all before that, like maybe even going back to like Wednesday or Thursday, like they have like maybe the trucks will race one night and then maybe some other kind of weird cars, and then they used to have another series, like they have the NASCARs, like the main cars, and they used to have like a series below that, kind of like minor league baseball or something. What was that called?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was at its most prominent time called the Busch series.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm not sure what they call it now. I don't know.
And then I guess
might be the clean shaven series now. I don't know.
And then if you did really good in that, which I guess was maybe on Saturdays, then maybe then you would get to race on Sundays or something. And I guess
no, Lucy. Here you actually brought something up that was a pet peeve of mine in racing. The Busch series, or the Farm League, whatever you want to call it. These guys that drove on Sundays would drive in this too. So a lot of times the guy that won the NASCAR race probably won the Busch race too. To me, it was like kind of no fair. It's like it would be like putting college teams in the NFL, sort of. And that's what I never did understand that.
Slim Shady says, I watched one race in my life he says. I watched one race in my life from beginning to end. I wonder if he did that on purpose. I watched one race in my life from beginning to end, and Dale Earnhardt died, so I thought it best to give it up. I'm not going to make a joke about that. I'm going to just assume you're being serious that happened to be the one race you ever watched. Celine Driver says, your NASCAR ignorance is killing me. I understand how you feel, sir, because your ignorance of the English language and inability to form a basic sentence is killing me. So I definitely feel your frustration, sir.
Not to forget is ignorance about watches.
Your NASCAR ignorance is killing me.
So I'm safe to assume that either one of us could sit down and have a discussion about NASCAR with Celine, and we would have no chance of winning any kind of argument or outsmarting him.
No, he would be the go-to guy for. He'll be a guest on the show again here pretty soon, I'm sure. So he's not even a redneck. He can educate us all on NASCAR then.
I probably crossed the line there too. My apologies to the rednecks that watch us and enjoy us.
We are an SEC country, BVD.
I know. We're down south. Yeah. What do you expect?
Not much, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on? Super Bowl halftime show. We stuff about that.
Commercials.
Commercials. I was disappointed. I'm going to be honest. I was disappointed. I thought, generally speaking, the commercials were better in the second half than they were in the first half, just like the football game. But I'll be serious. Right now, there's no commercial that I'm sitting here going, you remember that commercial? Like that one commercial was great. I don't really, there's not really one that. There were some commercials, I forget which one it was now. It was a completely ridiculous commercial. It wasn't any good. But then at the very end, there was some famous person in it. And I remember going, this isn't, a crappy commercial. You can't save a crappy commercial just by putting a famous person in it at the end. Like, this is the Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl. Yeah. You had a year to come up with a commercial for this, The commercial was any old commercial I could have seen in March, April, May, June, July, whatever. It was just a forgettable commercial. The fact that you paid $500,000 just to put and I can't even remember what commercial it was or who it was now. Some famous person for 5 seconds at the end doesn't save it. Whatever. I don't know what they paid the guy. I mean, I know it costs more than that to run the commercial. I'm talking about what they paid the famous person to stand there. I don't know. But you know what? One commercial that I don't know if this was the best commercial, but it was the most memorable to me, and it was a depressing commercial too. The Google Voice commercial about Alzheimer's. Did you catch that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh man,
they were bad last night, and the one commercial, and even this morning, I don't remember a whole lot about it, except I just remember saying, "There's the winner to me," and it's the Doritos commercial. It seems like they always have good Super Bowl commercials.
They do a good job usually every year.
Why would you? The thing that I don't understand: why would you pay that kind of money, an average of $5.6 million for a 30-second spot, and put up a commercial that you've been running all year?
Yeah.
And especially a bad one that you've been running all year. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
That marketing guy, that sales and marketing guy should be without a job today.
Logan Jackson says, speaking of putting college teams in the NFL, which I don't know who was speaking of that, but speaking of putting college teams in the NFL, UJ's defense could have stopped Patty McDaddy last night and won the game for the 49ers.
Patty McDaddy.
I think that's Pat Mahomes. I think he's saying Georgia's defense could have stopped the Chiefs in the fourth quarter of that in the fourth quarter of that game. I love Georgia's defense, but I'm of the you see this debate come up sometimes like, "Oh, I bet you Alabama could beat Cincinnati Bengals." No.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals would beat Alabama by 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to stop. Oh, Alabama's loaded with NFL talent. Guess who else is loaded with NFL talent? The Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah,
Cincinnati's got 53 NFL players on their team. Alabama's got 10. Stop it.
Well, that's debatable about Cincinnati, but I do get your point.
Yeah, but that comes up every once in a while. It used to be the Cleveland Browns. Such and such can beat the Cleveland Browns. I guess now it's Cincinnati, but no. The answer is no. They can't. Okay?
Have you noticed the theme there? You know,
I have noticed.
It stays in Ohio.
It does stay in Ohio. Yeah.
Isn't that where football was created, supposedly?
I don't know, but it's definitely migrated, if that's the case. So, I don't know.
The commercials were terrible, and like you said, there's not one today that I can think of that I can think of.
I'll tell you something that I noticed, not from any one commercial, but it tells me that we're headed for a change and a big shift here. There were a lot of commercials about electric cars.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I know that there are electric cars now, but on a very small scale, and there are some hybrid cars and things like that. But, like, I'll be honest, if I had an electric car right now, I couldn't name you one place in Augusta that has an electric charging station. Like, I would have no clue. So we're a long way away from that. But the fact that a lot of these car companies were willing to spend that much money over and over again on electric car commercials, it tells me that we're probably headed in that general direction. I even made the comment during my thing last night. I said, we may see the end of the V8 in my lifetime. The government hates V8s as it is because of the whole emissions thing and all that kind of stuff, and they're making it harder and harder for these companies to even produce V8s anymore.
Did you find the car commercial where the people were from, I guess, Massachusetts, parking the car? That one, are you familiar with the one I'm talking about? Mm-mm. Yeah, people sitting there. I guess this car parks itself, and that's basically the basic gist of the commercial. These people are sitting there arguing or discussing how the car parks itself, and they're from Boston. It wasn't great, but at least it had some sort of amusement about it to me.
Yeah.
Now, what I found to be, and it wasn't a commercial, the most entertaining non-Super Bowl, non-football thing about the whole night was the intro when they had the kid that I thought, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be some kind of commercial with OBJ in it. Had the little kid with the dyed
Oh
hair
yeah,
running through,
yeah.
running through every every town that has a team in it, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then all the kids running on the field to start that. Man, what a memory for those kids.
That's funny you bring. I said the same thing. I said, can you imagine how exciting this must be for that kid?
Oh, all of them, all 30,
Yeah.
whatever, 32 of them.
And then you're talking about the main one that actually he handed the ball to the referee there at the end. And I said, can you imagine like going to school next week and saying, yep, I was on the Super Bowl field? I said, that's got to be like as a kid. And then I go, hell, as an adult, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that kid's probably signing adult autographs today.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting, say, I don't know, 20 years from now, how many, if any, of the kids in that will actually play in the NFL. I know there were some girls, I think, to see how many of those kids actually end up getting to play, first of all, in the NFL, but if there ends up being any of them that play in a Super Bowl. Now, that would be an interesting story down the road.
Yeah. Slim Shady says the 2001 Hurricanes would have made the playoffs in the NFL. That's a fact. Deal with it. No, it's not a fact. The 2001 Hurricanes is one of the best teams of all time. They would not have made the NFL. They would not have made the NFL playoffs. But just for fun, let's pull up the roster.
While you're doing that, I would like to say to this person that I think the 2019 Tennessee team that we put on the field versus Georgia State could beat any NFL team. Just pick one.
All right, here we go. 2001 Miami Hurricanes. You tell me. I'm going to name the position and the player. How many teams make the playoffs? 12?
Yeah.
All right. So, quarterback, Ken Dorsey. Would he – stop it.
Fail.
Halfback, Najee Davenport. No. Now they also had Clinton Portis, so he was okay, but he was nothing great.
Wasn't Davenport in the league though?
I don't know. Jeremy Shockey, okay, he was pretty good. Wide receiver Andre Johnson, he was pretty good. Wide receiver 2, Daryl Jones. Dude sells used cars. Nobody knows who that is. Left tackle, Bryant McKinney. All right. There you go. Hall of Famer, probably. Left guard. The hell is this? Sherpo Haji Razuli. He would get eaten alive on every single play. Not playoff material. Center. Brett Romberg. What is that?
Romberg actually sounds like an offensive lineman's last name.
Right guard. Martin Bibla. No. Right tackle, Joaquin Gonzalez. I think he's related to Demi Lovato. All right, here we go. Defense. Starting defensive end, Andrew Williams. Who? Defensive tackle, Matt Walters. Never heard of her. Another defensive tackle, William Joseph. No.
Oh, Willie Joe. You've never heard of Willie Joe?
Yeah. Be quiet, BVD. Left end, Jerome McDougal. Outside linebacker, Chris Campbell. Mike Rumpf, okay, decent. Ed Reed, No, he was the best player.
Great
strong
chief
safety,
of staff, terrible football player.
Strong safety, what the hell? Strong safety, James Lewis. No. Cornerback, Philip Buchanan. Okay, you've got about 7 NFL starters on that roster. Slim. 7. You're not making the NFL playoffs with 7 NFL starters. Stop. And that was one of the best college teams of all time. Not the best.
You're barely making the college playoffs with those numbers.
Yeah, let's be real. That must have just been a down year for college football. This roster is not impressive to me. Ooh, we ran through the Big East. Whee! Jesus Christ. Nobody gives two hoots or a country holler, man. You join the ACC, the worst football conference in America. Can't win the damn thing. How you been? I'm sorry. If you've been in the ACC for 15, 16 years, this goes for anybody, and you can't win it, you're not a good program, period. So, but I'm not telling Slim. Slim's not a delusional Hurricane fan. I'm giving him a hard time. The 2001 Miami team was clearly one of the best college football teams of all time. I don't personally think it was the best of all time, but there are a lot of people that do. I think the 1995 Nebraska football team was the greatest of all time, but I don't think it's a ridiculous argument to make if you're somebody that thinks it was 2001 Miami. But I would take 1995 Nebraska. Yeah. What about
trying to
you?
think of a daggone name last night I don't even remember who he played for, Lou, but it was one of those names. Every time you hear it, you think it's a Key and Peele name. And when I find it, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to look up the rosters for both teams right now. God, I wish I could think of that dude's name. I heard that name last night and actually busted out laughing, thinking, wow, did they get that off the Key and Peele All-Star team? Anyway, go ahead with your thought.
My thoughts is that this is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. This show airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. And we are interested in having you, yes, you, as a guest host on the show. Are you interested in doing that? If so, email Lou and BVD at gmail.com. Or maybe you want to support the show and become a sponsor. Same email. But seriously, if you want to be a guest, email Lou and BVD at gmail.com. Slots are a lot more people were interested in doing the guest host thing than I initially thought would be. So the plan initially was maybe to do a guest host every Friday. Right now, there's Wednesday. It's Wednesday and Friday now for at least the next few weeks. I think there's a third host booked for this Wednesday and this Friday and next Wednesday and next Friday. Plus, I've got probably 4 or 5 people more that have already emailed me that I've got to schedule after that. But that's good. We want you to come on and co-host. So I'm not complaining. I'm actually happy that so many of you have showed interest in co-hosting the show. And there's been some of you that have co-hosted and have showed some interest in doing it again, and we can't wait for that to happen. To try to keep it fair, though, we're gonna let people who haven't co-hosted yet that want to come on before we start recycling people, or however you wanna put it. But just email me and BVD, Lou and BVD at gmail.com. One of us will get back to you. And we'll get you scheduled. Keep in mind, this is a live show that comes on at 8 Eastern, okay? So you've got to be available. You know, if you can't do the whole show, that's fine. The show usually runs from 8 till 9 or 9:30 or so, sometimes a little bit longer or whatever. If you can only do 30 minutes or whatever, that's fine. Just, you know, when you email us, just let us know this is when I'm available and blah, 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 and we'll get it worked out. But we would love to, as many of you as want to co-host, we would love to do it. So email us. It gives us a chance to get to know more about some of these people that we see in the comments section all the time. And we've had a good time, right, BVD, with some of these hosts that we've had over the last couple of weeks. It's worked out pretty well, I think.
Oh, yeah. They've both done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Saved the day, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of worried about one of them potentially taking our job at some point down the road.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you don't have to worry about that, seeing as you have the controls in your lap. But, you know, I could be in trouble. You never know.
Well, that's true. You could be.
I mean, I could be in trouble for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But
speaking of which,
as it pertains to this show.
Speaking of which, you have your 1-month review coming up this afternoon, so we'll be meeting to discuss that.
Okay, super and even outstanding.
Yeah, outstanding. Thanks for paying such great attention. Yeah, so really, though, if you want to be on the show, we would love to have you. Just email Lou and BVD at gmail.com. And if you want to sponsor the show some kind of way, maybe you own your own business or whatever the case may be, let us know. It's not No one has ever emailed me asking about sponsoring the show and us not been able to work something out. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you're interested in sponsoring the show some kind of way, just let us know. We'll be happy to try to work something out. There. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. we do this show. We have a good time. It's been way more successful than I thought it would be. It's hard to start something new on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys showing all the support that you have. And then Tuesdays and Thursday nights, of course, I still do Uncle Lou After Dark, YouTube's longest running college football call-in show. Every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, we take phone calls from college football fans from all over. So make sure you check that out too.
According to Zoe, he has the longest running call-in show. Just saying.
Well, he's wrong, and I have video proof. So
I got 2 words for you, Lou. Jaquaski Tart.
The hell is that? What'd you call me?
Yeah, exactly. Is that a Key and Peele name, or is that somebody that actually played? I heard the name during the game, so he must have actually played in the Super Bowl last night.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I really don't.
Slim
says he thinks the 2000 Miami team was better than the 01. I'd have to look that one up too, but I don't know. I know that when I hear people talk about the greatest teams of all time, that the 01 team is the team that they always mention from Miami, but I'd have to go back and look. Logan Jackson, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says this year's LSU team, oh my God, this year's LSU team would beat any team Miami has ever had. Not trying to seem like I'm trolling. I'm being serious. My problem, I don't like this thing where, okay, this team won yesterday, so now I think they're the greatest team of all time. I don't like that. It's like people who try to convince you that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan just because LeBron James is playing now and they're 17 years old and they didn't see Michael Jordan play or whatever.
In all of these,
just because something is happening now doesn't mean it's better than something that happened in the past.
In all of these best college football team ever arguments, two teams that I've never heard mentioned are the 1980 Georgia team or the 1998 Tennessee team. What the hell's wrong with these people? Do they even watch college football? How are those two teams not in the argument? No argument from you either, huh?
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Guess who's joined us in the chat? The Ultimate Troll, assuming that's the real one. Ultimate Troll. Hey, how did that Broderick Jones visit go at Auburn this weekend?
Oh, boy.
I am the ultimate waterhead.
Lou,
I am the ultimate waterhead.
It should be noted that there could be someone watching this stream or in the chats that has a waterhead baby that you're offending. I just want to put that out there.
There is.
Mr. and Mrs. Ultimate Troll?
No. I can't remember the name, but if you look at the live stream I did on Saturday, you'll see him in the comments. The person that you're referring to.
Okay.
They were offended and felt the need to let me know about it, which I understand. Of course, nothing I said in that video was directed at that person. I don't even know who that person is.
Is that a pack of cigarettes laying on that baby's head?
It's a piece of butter.
It looks like a pack of cigarettes.
But it's like I told him, is the term waterhead a little bit offensive? Yes, it is. But if I didn't talk about anything that might offend anybody, then I would never talk about anything ever. So
what would be the point of the show?
If I'm making fun of the Ultimate Troll by referring to him as the ultimate waterhead, and someone chooses, key word there, chooses to take offense to that, whether it's because, well, whatever the reason is, this is what it is. So, but anyway, the ultimate waterhead. How'd that visit with Broderick Jones go, waterhead? Let us know in the comments section. Inquiring minds want to know about that. What else we got? Logan Jackson says, first of all, I'm always right, so don't argue with me. Second of all, I never said LSU was the best all time. I just said they were better than Miami.
Hard to argue with somebody that's giving you $5.
No, it's not. But he does make a point. He didn't say they were the greatest. I'm rereading his comment now, and he just says they're better than any team Miami has ever had. So he is correct. He did not say they were the greatest of all time. And here's the thing. 5 years from now, we might look back, and I might even say LSU was one of or the greatest teams of all time. I just don't think you can watch something on a Monday and then on Tuesday try to convince people it was the greatest ever. I'm just, in general, whatever it is, I don't believe in that. I think you have to put some time and distance between recent events before you try to compare them to any sort of historical events, whatever you're talking about, whether it's football or anything else. So LSU obviously had an amazing season. They were 15-0, and they destroyed everybody they played. Guess who else did that? 2018 Clemson.
Yeah.
So and I don't know if anybody right now is trying to convince people that 2018 Clemson was the greatest team of all time. You know who else was the greatest team of all time? 2018 Alabama, until they played Clemson. We heard that all year. It's the best team ever. Look at this offense. It's unstoppable. Two of this, two of that. The defense, this, Jerry Jeudy. We heard that all season long from people who actually pretend to know what they're doing. Like people at ESPN and stuff even were talking about, could this be the greatest team ever? Then they got blown out by Clemson. Does that make Clemson the greatest team ever? So the point is, let's wait 5 years. Let's wait till 2025, and then we can look back at 2018 Clemson and 2019 LSU and try to figure out where they rank with 2001 Miami, 1995 Nebraska, 2004 Southern Cal. Right? Let's wait. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're not. They might be. Clemson and LSU might be two of the best 5 teams ever. But I just think you have to wait a few years to give yourself some perspective before you crown a team like that. I just
is there an Uncle Lou time limit on that? We got to wait 5 years, 10 years.
Outstanding.
What would you consider to be that time limit, sir?
Outstanding.
So I'm gonna go with 10.
Okay, because I just said 5 years multiple times, and then you asked me, so that's outstanding.
You are paying attention. I love it.
Outstanding. Anyway, any last words, BBD?
Outstanding. Some of these people probably don't even understand that. That's because they weren't watching last week. Shame on you. Thanks, everyone, again, for tuning in this morning. If you're looking for something to do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, why aren't you here? 8 o'clock. The best morning show on the radio and the TV and the phone. Same goes for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. We got live shows all over the place, don't we, Lou?
Yeah, we really do.
If you get on the internet at 8 o'clock, whether it be morning or evening, you're going to find some quality entertainment either right here or over on my channel.
Right.
And that's all year long.
It is all year round. We do this year round. I'm not sure if people were aware. But...
Well, you do. I'm working on it.
Oh, you're going to do it year round too. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat. He says Logan Jackson needs to seek substance abuse treatment immediately. So Slim disagrees that LSU 2019 could beat every Miami team ever. Obviously, he disagrees with that. It's an interesting debate and argument to have. And I don't know, maybe on one of these shows, BVD, me and you will actually take some time to prepare like the day before, and you can come on with your 5 best college football teams of all time, and I'll come on with my 5 best of all time, and we'll see if we can come to any type of consensus on a top 5 teams. Maybe we'll do that. We'll see.
At least one. That would be amazing in itself.
Mm-hmm. I see our good buddy Jenny Haggerty is still in the comment section. Jenny, please, sir, stop leaving the lid up. It's rude. Jenny. Sir.
Speaking of leaving the lid up, I was in a public bathroom the other day, and there was a note on the top of the toilet, which there usually are in public restrooms, but it was one of the funniest ones, at least to me, that I ever saw. It said, in quotes, "To the sprinkler, please put the lid down." Or excuse me, please lift the lid, to the sprinkler. So apparently that place has a cereal sprinkler in their bath.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a topic for a really, really dead, boring, in trouble morning show sometime. Are you a sprinkler?
Or why is it my responsibility?
Thank you.
To leave the lid down. Or
thank you.
Yeah. Why isn't it your responsibility, lady, to leave the lid up?
Lid up, exactly.
Do you have any idea how inconvenient it is for me to have to lift that lid up? Almost, or actually as equally inconvenient as it is for you, lady, to have to put that lid down. This isn't a hold the door situation. This isn't. I mean, what is this here? What about equality, lady?
If we're being totally fair.
Yeah. Why do I have to leave it down every time? Why don't you leave it up for me? Thank you, lady.
If we're being totally fair, we have to lift it and lower it. Double the work.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know.
Double the workload.
Yeah. I'm gonna end the show and look up my congressman's phone number. I'm calling him about this.
Please do.
But appreciate you guys tuning in as usual to the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. One more time, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show or sponsoring the show some kind of way, just email me and BVD at louandbvd@gmail.com. What's coming up for me? Well, today I'm going to work on a right versus wrong video. I'm going to pull up a bunch of the preseason predictions that I did for a whole lot of teams, and I'm going to show you how wrong I was and give you guys an opportunity to laugh at me. Hopefully, I'll be able to find a few that I was right or close to right on. But don't worry, I'm going to show you plenty that I got really, really wrong and give you an opportunity to laugh at me. After that, today's video, I'm going to do an entire series of schedule preview videos. We'll pull up a bunch of different schedules, look at them, non-con, all that kind of thing. It won't be prediction videos as far as like this team's going to have this record. We're just going to look at some schedules. What are some of the big non-con games coming up this season in 2020, that kind of thing. That'll take a couple of weeks. And, of course, the live shows will keep on rolling. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m., me and BVD. And then for me, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And BVD goes live on his channel, too, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8. So check him out, too.
Happy birthday to Law Tide's daughter. I'm not going to say her name because he didn't give me permission to, but happy birthday to her today.
Shout out to Law Tide's daughter. Happy birthday. And make your daddy take you somewhere nice for dinner. Do that. Law Tide, take her somewhere nice for dinner. Really nice. Treat her like a princess, right? That's what you have to do when you have a little girl. And no matter how old she is, if you're a dad, you know this. No matter how old she is, and I have no idea how old BVD or Law Tide's daughter is, she will always be your little princess. Law Tide, you know that. BVD, you know that, and I know that because we're lucky enough to have daughters. So,
yep.
Enjoy your day with your daughter, Law Tide. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Shout out to everybody in the comments section. Let me run through the super chats real quick here. Slim Shady, thank you for supporting the channel this morning through the super chat feature. Same to you, Logan Jackson. Celine Driver, thank you, sir. Shane Bentley, shout out to you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Waikiki, thank you, sir. Mitch Aldi's Sim TV Repair. Great troll name there. Of course, we've talked about that video game, The Sims, and having a character break a TV. He immediately makes the troll account. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Take notes of that troll. He does it the right way. Shout out to everybody in the comment section for tuning in and joining us this morning on the morning show. Let's see who's here. Christy, Jay Bolton, Melissa May, Law Tide, RMF Tide, Lawn Stars. Shout out to you, sir. Austin Church. The Ultimate Troll, Celine Driver, Snake Spence 725, Thomas Jasper Jr., Tom. Jordan Bowman. Appreciate you tuning in, sir. Christy, Slim Shady, Celine Driver, BVD TV in the chat section. Good morning in that. From's middle finger. Appreciate all of y'all tuning in to the morning show. We have a great time with this show. We will be back Wednesday morning to regale you with more tales of the stupid. Please join us here for a great time. BVD, you get the last word today, sir.
Outstanding.
That is outstanding. Oh, say something else so you can really have the last word. I didn't mean to do that.
Come see me tonight at 8 o'clock on BBD TV live primetime. It will most definitely be outstanding.